This week on the Road with Mickey, celebrating Walt, the legacy of a life well lived.
We're on the road with Mickey, we're gonna have some fun. Regardless of the rain or sun, our trip has just begun. So buckle up, let's go. We're about to start the show. And maybe if you like us, you'll see where else we'll go.
Hey everyone, I'm Mike, and she's Sophie.
And she's Brenda.
Hi, everyone.
And he's Grogu. Hey buddy boy. And we are on the road with Mickey. This is episode 247 for December 2nd, 2024. And our feature topic this week is celebrating Walt, the lasting legacy of a life well lived. We are going to celebrate the man. He is not the myth. He is the legend.
Yes, he is.
He is Walt Disney.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, we have some cheddar from the big cheese, and it is my turn to start us off. Yay, Mike.
Yay.
Yay.
Simple pleasures, people. Simple
That's
pleasures.
Right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
They mount up.
Yes, they do. Well, news out of Hollywood Studios. Muppet Vision 3D. This is like, it's big news.
Big news.
It's also now at this time of recording, it's probably old news, but it's still cheddar to us.
Yeah.
Still tastes. Muppet Vision 3D will be closing to make way for Monsters Inc. Land and the Coming Door coaster, which I think is going to be an awesome
I can't
wait. Roller coaster.
I think
Yes.
so too.
Yes.
However, the Muppets are not all gone.
Nope.
Over at Rock and Roller Coaster, big change is that it is being rethemed to include the Muppets. It's going to be like Electric Mayhem Coaster or something. I don't know if that's the name that they're going to give it or if it's still going to be Rock and Roller Coaster, but it's going to be like the Electric Mayhem partying out with a bunch of rockers, I guess.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the changes?
I don't like the rock and roller coaster. I think it's too loud. I don't like corkscrews. I don't like going upside down a lot. But I do love the Muppets. So I think that I will need to try it.
I think that that's an excellent decision.
I think so too, Sophie. I think it'd be fun to try it. And
Yeah.
to me, the thing about it with the whole upside down part of Rock and Roller Coaster is that it's so quick because it's not like California Screaming and Credit Coaster where you actually go like that. It's like and you're done. So to me, it's almost like you blink and you don't even realize you went upside down. Just to me.
Not to me.
So anyway,
I think it's a win-win. We get Monsters Inc. coaster, which we've all wanted forever, and we still get to keep the Muppets. I think it's a win-win.
yeah.
I think it is too.
Yeah. Now, when Gonzo starts being one of the bellhops at Tower of Terror,
Oh.
which just saying that would be awesome.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious to think about, really. Oh my
I
gosh.
can
You know,
see it.
this-
I can see it.
This might just be the start of Muppets Takeover.
Well,
Hollywood
it could be.
Studios.
It could be.
We'll
You
see.
never know. You never know.
You
We
never
will
know. We'll have to
see.
see.
Yep.
But anyway, I'm excited to see the changes. I will miss Muppet Vision 3D, but I will also say that it is dated. It has been in need of some work for a long time. It confuses me just a little bit because didn't they just replace all the seating?
Yeah.
So you replace all the seating and then you're closing the attraction down. I don't get it, but you know what? They don't pay me to get it.
No.
Ever changing.
All right. Well, that topic is done now, I think.
All right. Well, guess what?
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 As we expected, Disney has rolled out the Lightning Lane Premier Pass to include all Disney Resort hotels.
Mm.
You'll be able to purchase it up to 7 days before your trip if you're a Disney Resort guest, and for up to 14 days. This change took effect on November 22nd. I'm getting ready to try this thing and just see
Mm.
what I think.
I'm curious to see what you think.
I'm
'Cause
curious too.
Your
Are
feedback,
you?
your feedback is invaluable.
Mhm.
Well, I have some guests that, they're going during really busy times and they've been batting back and forth with it. And I think that I need to experience it so I can best advise them on how it is. So I'll give it a try. Oh, what we do for our guests.
Yeah, and for our own enjoyment too.
That's true.
But there is a cost.
Yeah,
There
there's a
is.
cost. People, there's a cost. Oh my.
Yeah. Are you able to share how much you paid for it?
Yeah, we paid $239 per person plus tax for
Per
one
person.
day at Epcot. If I had bought it for Magic Kingdom instead, we would have paid $450 per person plus tax for one day.
And that is a big testimony to how many more rides there are at Magic Kingdom than there
Oh, for
are
sure.
at Epcot.
For sure. And people may not know, but with the Premier Pass, it's just you can ride one time at any ride that has Lightning Lane, and you just, instead of booking them in advance, you just walk on when you want. So that's the difference.
Doesn't seem all that worth it to me.
I think
Yeah.
it's for the people that don't want to spend all day in their phones, constantly in their phones,
true.
booking things instead of with their
Oh,
family.
that's true. That
And
is
if you can
very
I
true.
afford it,
understand,
that's
but
the life. But
$240 to $450 per person per day just to stay off your phone?
yes.
Well, here's the thing. It's a big debate, but if we were a one and done family who saved for 5 years to go to Disney, and it would be like the only time we could ever do it, then I would be all about it for a day, probably, because I know that I want to get as much out of it as I can. And so I could
Okay.
see doing it for something like that. But I certainly, and this is just a personal Mike Ellis opinion, I don't see myself doing it for every trip or for every day or something like that, because you're right, it is a huge expense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for us, we did multi-pass for our December 7th Epcot day. And I did that because I wanted to be able to have those already planned. Um, and the cost for us for that was 140 plus tax for 5 people. And then it was for 3 people doing Guardians, it was about $50 or something like that. So it wasn't horrible, but that's still an expense. So
Yeah, and you'd have to subtract that from Premier Pass if you had gotten Premier Pass.
right,
You still would have had to
Yeah.
pay for the single pass for Guardians if you wanted to ride it twice, but you could have ridden it once without an additional cost. So you could have
yeah,
kind of justified that day
yeah,
and that price a little
Yeah.
better. And it all depends on the park and the what you want to do and your goal for your trip and all those kinds
yeah.
of things. So
So there's a lot of it's not any, just like life, the world in general. There is not a one size fits all answer for anything.
that's right.
And
True.
that includes Premier Pass and Multi Pass and Single Pass, and whether you should do any of them or none of them or all of them or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
So
time of year you go is very
yeah,
important as well. If
yeah.
you're
You're
going over the
right.
Christmas holiday,
That's true. That's
But
very true.
you make very valid points though, Sophie,
Hmm.
and that's why there's no answer that's correct for anyone,
right?
because it all depends on the family and it depends on what they're doing and how long they're going to be there and how often they go and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
You're right. Well, anyway, that was all just from a little bit of cheddar, and we're not even done with the cheddar yet because it's my turn now.
Mhm.
And I was stuck with the last bit of cheddar, the tiny little scrap left on the plate after these two ate the whole thing.
Well, it was Turkey Day recently, and
Yeah, but
we
it's
chowed
fine.
down.
You guys left me with my favorite type of cheese, Swiss cheese.
Yay!
Because in refurbishment news,
Nice.
the
She's
Swiss
hilarious.
Family Treehouse, Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse in Adventureland is going to be closed for a short refurbishment. It's only 2 days. Don't worry, it's coming back. It will be closed, not 2 days. Never mind.
Never mind.
For a little over a month. Sorry. It will be closed from November 18th, so it's already closed through December 20th.
Which
Either
means
way, it's still coming back. We're
it
going
is
to be
Yep,
coming
okay,
back.
Daddy.
It'll be
that's right.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll be okay.
But it means I will not be doing Swiss Family Treehouse this trip,
That's true.
No.
Next trip, you'll do it.
which I haven't done it in several years.
I
Um,
did it a couple of trips ago.
yeah. So I will look forward to doing it again next time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, that is our cheddar from the big cheese. And we actually want to remind you, I got to remind myself because you could see there was a pause where Mike Ellis realized he hadn't finished everything. And then he's like, oh, let's correct that without anyone knowing, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Nor do I, Daddy.
I'm talking about the links for sharing and for connecting with us, which we have our
Oh,
Facebook page, we have our Facebook group, our YouTube channel.
yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Instagram channel, our email address info@ontheroadwithmickey.com, and our website where you can capsulate everything that is On the Road with Mickey, which is ontheroadwithmickey.com. Go to the
Yes.
website, check it out.
Check it
Um,
out.
and we have one bit of listener feedback on Christmas at Disney episode.
Oh, nice.
Sophie, why don't you read what Chrissy wrote?
I would love to. This is Chrissy from our friends over at Billy's Closet of Magic, and she answered our question on going to Walt Disney World at Christmas. Here is what she said. We have a tentative weekend planned for December to do the Cookie Walk at Epcot and possibly Jollywood Nights if it's still available when I get paid next. We missed the holiday trip last year. I
Oh,
hope you are able to do that,
me
Chrissy.
too.
I
Yeah,
really, really
same
do.
here. And I do have a question. What is this cookie walk that she speaks of?
You know, the cookie
Google
walk,
is
the
our
cookie
friend.
stroll, where you get the card and it shows you all the cookies that are part of the stroll. And then if you get one, when you go to the kiosk and get the cookie, they like mark on it. And then at the end,
Okay.
you get a little prize.
Oh,
Okay.
so it's kind of like eating around the world.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
cookie around the world. Okay.
It's
See,
it's it's a
I
cookie
don't think
stroll.
I've ever done it. I don't think we've
Well,
We
ever
it's
done it.
time to
haven't.
do it.
Maybe.
You should do it
Oh,
on the 7th.
Okay.
we
You
should.
heard it here first. We should do it on the 7th.
Oh, Daddy,
Yep.
I already found the menu and whatnot.
Are they cookies I like?
There's a snickerdoodle one.
Mm.
Okay.
So we've got the Spaceship Earth gingerbread triangles. We've got an almond Linzer tart cookie at looks like Germany.
I
The
bet.
snickerdoodle cookie is at the American holiday table. We got black and whites, peppermint pinwheels, a
Hmm.
coffee mocha cookie, interesting, a cinnamon spice chocolate crinkle cookie, the holiday sugar cookie, and the peanut butter cookie with festive red and green M&Ms and milk chocolate minis.
There you go.
That sounds good.
Yep. And if you get one of each, they mark your little card. It's just, something fun to do. Little extra
Okay.
something that's thrown in on your park ticket.
And you know what?
That
Here's what we
sounds
do.
cool.
We do that. We share the cookie because I
Mm-hmm.
bet you Aunt Robin would love that mocha one,
Oh
probably more than
yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
Um, but we share the cookies and then we get the fun surprise at the end. Okay. Sounds like the
Okay.
plan is working here,
That's
people.
right. That's right. Thank you, Chrissy.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks,
thank you.
Chrissy.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Well, it is time for our feature topic, Celebrating Walt, the lasting legacy of a life well lived. This is a show from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have a couple little things that I wanted to read out that speak volumes um, to what was and almost what wasn't. So you'll know what I mean when I'm done reading. But I wanted to read these first, and then we're just going to go around and talk about Walt Disney, the man, not Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or anything like that. Those might get into discussion because of the story, but we're going to talk about Walt, and we're going to focus primarily on Walt and the lasting legacy of him and his visions. So first things first, December 5th, 1901. And I want to thank our friends over at This Day in Disney History, because we get primarily most of our history stuff comes from This Day in Disney History. And that is a
Oh,
really
yeah.
awesome website. Google it, go look at it. They have
Yeah.
Disney history for every day of the year.
Yeah. It
And
is
it
so
goes
well maintained.
spans
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of years. So go check it out. It's really cool. Um, so thank you to them. But December 5th, 1901, Walter Elias Disney is born to Flora and Elias Disney in their two-story cottage at what was then 1249 Tripp Avenue in a newly developed section of Chicago, Illinois. In 1909, the address of the house will change to 2156 North Tripp Avenue. The fourth Disney son is named to honor the family's pastor and friend, Walter Parr, a preacher at St. Paul Congregational Church, which is located 1 block east and 1 block north of the Disney house. The pastor, in turn, will later name his son Elias after Walt's father. The Disney family will move to Missouri in April of 1906, where Walt and his brothers and sister will grow up on a farm in Marceline, Missouri. But the family will later return to Chicago in 1917. That is the beginning of Walter Elias Disney.
Yes.
Yes.
And we are thankful for that day, for
Mm-hmm.
him being born. So we give
For
thanks to
sure.
God for that.
That's
And
right.
Yes.
then September 4th, 1918, which is not just my grandfather's 5th birthday.
Cool.
It was also postal employee Walt Disney, who is a substitute mail carrier, is walking through the West Adams Street lobby of the Federal Building in Chicago when he hears a deafening blast that shakes the ground. Someone has planted a bomb. Sadly, more than 75 people were injured and 4 were killed, including a co-worker of Walt's named William Wheeler. The
Yeah.
force of the blast also kills a horse on the street, damages a streetcar, and shatters windows on nearby buildings. And a quote from Walt: "I was in the post office. I just got through sorting my mail or finishing my route. I was walking out, going out a certain entrance when it was bombed. I was right in the lobby when, boom, this thing went off. Here comes the dust shooting out and everything. That was the way I went out every night. I missed that darn thing by about 3 minutes."
Yep.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. 16 years old. Life could have been ended.
Yeah. Not even
Mm-hmm.
17 yet. And God had a plan for him.
Yep.
So thank God for that. And,
Yes.
and it's just one of those things that he knew that this world needed someone like Walt Disney.
Mm-hmm.
So that that's just awesome to me. So thanks be
Yep.
to God.
That's
Mhm.
right.
But that's how close it came to no Disneyland, no Walt Disney World, no movies, no Snow White, no Mickey Mouse, no any of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
No magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it didn't happen
It did not
because it
happen.
wasn't supposed to.
Exactly. So I have talked a little bit. So who wants to talk next?
I think Sophie did.
I do.
All right, Sophie, go for it.
So I'm the one who has the wiki page pulled up right now, but that is not really going to come in any handy for this specific episode because this episode isn't really so much a report on Walt's life, but more a conversation about the impacts he had based on some of the decisions that he made in his life. And something that I always really like to talk about is not only Walt's animation history, but also his personal life. And specifically, I like to talk about what he did before he started the Disney company, and that was back in World War One. Um, Everyone who knows anything about Walt knows that he was a patriot to his very core, almost to a fault, one could argue, except it wasn't to a fault because it was one of his greatest traits. And he was also very close with his older brother, Roy. And when World War One broke out, Roy was drafted into the military, or he joined the military. I don't know if he was drafted or if he chose to, but the point is, he was in the army. And Walt wanted to be there with his brother. He wanted to help fight and defend America against the other powers in the war. But of course, at this point in time, he was too young. This was after the bombing incident. It was right when he was 17, and he needed to be 18 or older in order to join the army. So what he did instead was he joined the Red Cross, and he needed parental permission in order to do that, but of course his parents didn't give it. So instead, he ended up forging their signatures in order to join. He never actually saw the front lines, but he was a driver of one of the ambulance vehicles, and he was with the medics, really. And I have to wonder, Roy came back unharmed. Roy was fine, but what would have happened if Walt had been just a year older? If he was in the military with his brother, would things have been different? Would he have come back?
Well,
But he
there's
did
Question.
no
come
telling.
back.
He would
Hmm.
have come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he would have, I think. And he did come back, but he still continued to be a patriot. We know this because of the work that the Disney company did during World War II with all the propaganda cartoons.
Mhm.
And we know this because of things like Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln and the Hall of Presidents, which actually, it's funny because Walt actually played the part of Abraham Lincoln when he was a schoolboy still. He was told to pick a president and give a presentation on it, and he chose Abe Lincoln. And he wore the fake beard, he wore the top hat, he did it all as if he was Abraham Lincoln. And that just shows how much respect he had for that specific president.
Yep. That's right.
Hmm. Anything else you guys want me to say right now?
Go ahead, Brenda.
Yep. I was actually looking for, in October 1st, 1966, which was one of the last things Walt ever did,
Hmm.
he was given a special award from NATO. And in all honesty, I was looking for the wording of that special, because it was literally created for him. It was the Showman of the World Award. I'm hoping that maybe Sophie, in her grand ability to research everything on the spur of the moment, can find the actual words of the award, because it was created in his honor for him, and that was just very soon, before he passed.
Showman.
But
I'm
he
already
received
looking
many,
at
many awards, but the Showman of the World Award was specifically
created for him.
created for him. So to me, it speaks a lot. And the fact that it was kind of right before his passing it sticks in my mind, because, he was sicker than anybody knew. And I just really, he got all those awards for movies and for, everything he created in his life. But
Mm-hmm.
he just was such a wonderful human being. Just can't, he just changed everything. He changed so much for so many. And we are living parts of his legacy. This whole show is a living part of his legacy. It's like he touched everything. He touched billions of people and changed billions of lives, the way we think about things, the way we look at life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Hang on, I think I found it, Aunt Brenda.
Yay, thank you.
On the evening of October 1st, the New York's American. I'm making sure that I found it first.
Yay.
Yep. Okay. On the evening of October 1st in New York's Americana Hotel, nearly 2,000 exhibitors and their wives from throughout the United States and Canada gathered together as Walt was presented with what NATO claimed was a salute to dramatize the impact of his artistry and showmanship upon the entire world. In fact, the award was designed especially for Walt and bore the following inscription: in a universe of unlocking secrets, creativity, diversion, and recreation become symbols of man's civilized state. To bring us to this plateau, science and religion have probed the mind and the soul. Entertainment has ministered to the emotions. Above all others, in a global configuration of the showman of the world is one man. He stands alone. His sensitivity to the visual delights is unequaled, even unchallenged. His total involvement of the family is a credo. His uncompromising wholesomeness of subject matter and presentation give a mighty industry dignity and respect and recognition. But most of all, his uncanny ability to bring joy and gratification to young and old alike set him apart. He is known and loved in every land, in every tongue. He is indeed the first, perhaps the only, showman of the world. He is, of course, Walt Disney.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Unmatched. Totally untouched.
Unchallenged.
Yeah. Yes, he changed everything. He changed everything.
Yes.
And he's still doing it. And he's not even here.
It also, there's another quote here from Corwin and Fine on announcing Walt as the recipient for the Showman of the Year award, stated, "The reasons why Walt Disney should receive unprecedented recognition and honor from the nation's theater owners are far too numerous for complete enumeration. Even the name Walt Disney is synonymous throughout the world with the highest level of creative entertainment. His brilliant and imaginative creations transcend all language barriers and geographic boundaries to brighten the world with the warmth of delight and laughter."
Yep.
I'm going to send you this link where I found all this because it
Thank
is
you.
amazing. It is from a website called Jim Hill Media, and the
Oh.
article itself is called Walt in His Own Words. So I'm just going to text that to you
Thank
really
you.
quick so that
I
you can read it,
appreciate
Aunt
it.
Brenda, because I think you would love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
There we go.
Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. He to me, when we're in the carousel of progress and it says he follows his dreams with mind and heart,
Mm-hmm.
that is what his life was. He followed his dreams with all his heart and
Yeah.
pursued things that were completely people didn't even dream about. Like he was so ahead of his time and so gifted and he was destined for his purpose. I mean, clearly.
Yeah. Sophie, forgive me.
Yes.
Did you read what Walt's comments were when he received that award?
No, I did not. Would you like me to go back and do that?
I have it up. I'll read it.
Great.
Because I think this speaks about who he was a lot.
Yeah, and this
Yeah.
particularly touches me because, like I said, he was sicker than anybody knew, and
Exactly. And you think about it, October, November, December, 2 months, a little over 2 months later.
yeah,
Yeah.
So he said in winning that and being presented with that award, he said, most of this talk has been about me and Big Brother Roy and a few of the exhibitors, but also there is the Disney organization with its 3,000 employees. They take pride in the organization which they helped to build. Only through the talent, the labor, and the dedication of the staff could any Disney project get off the ground.
yeah,
Now, before sitting down to count my blessings, I want to make you a promise. I promise we won't let this great honor you have paid us tonight go to our head. We have too many projects for the future to take time out for such a thing. On top of that, after 40 some odd years of ups and downs in this crazy business of ours, we know too well you are only as good as your next picture. And he understood. He
yeah,
understood it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
Walt Disney doing this.
yeah,
It was Walt Disney providing the ability to know who to hire
Yeah.
to
yeah,
get the job done and being able to say, you know what, that guy Mike Ellis, the world doesn't think much of him, but I think he'd be really good at doing this
Mm-hmm.
or that,
yeah. He could definitely see the talent in people and like choose the
and
right people. That's a
that's
gift.
that is a gift that not many people have, you know. Um, I love over on the Walt Disney Family Museum website. I saw this and I thought it was really cool because it spoke to him. It said, spoke about him, spoke of him. And it says, beyond his countless achievements, there was Walt, the loving son, brother, husband, and
Father,
simply daddy
grandfather. Yeah,
Yeah.
to his girls. Above all, family came first.
yeah,
With strong family ties and a harmonious home life, he
Mm-hmm.
dared to dream, create, and explore throughout his career. And I'm posting the link to this page in the show notes because it is so cool. Oh
yeah.
my
That's one
gosh,
of my favorite sites. I love
it
it.
is so cool. The most important thing he said is the family.
That's
It
right.
is.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
And it was for all of us. I mean, like when my kids were growing up and the grandkids came along, all of our
Mhm.
family memories are wrapped up in the gift Walt gave us. I mean, that going to Walt Disney World every year was the love language of my heart. That was what
Uh-huh.
I cherish those moments every single second. Like I still do. Those are my special times. I hope I never forget forget those things. I hope that dementia never robs me of the joy that I've always felt through, that time with my family. I mean, I don't have
Yeah.
it, so I just, you know,
Yeah.
pray
I
pray
know
I'm able
what
to
you're
hold
saying.
on to it.
I
Yeah.
know exactly what you're saying.
But it is.
So,
He changed everything for so many.
Mhm.
Just all of our lives are so enriched.
yeah. And you know what? Disneyland wouldn't have been there if he wasn't going to the park. He was going to Griffith Park with the
Yeah.
girls,
Okay.
watching them ride the carousel and thinking, how do I do this
Yeah.
where I get to ride the carousel with them?
Yeah.
And that's how
Yeah.
the concept that became Disneyland was formed, you know?
Yeah. He wanted families to be able to ride together and experience things together. Every
Yeah.
ride back then was just for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's so cool. So thank you, Griffith Park, for not letting him ride with the kids.
That's
There's a
hilarious.
run. There's a backhanded compliment.
That's
Oh
hilarious.
gosh.
Oh god.
But
Mm.
yeah, it's yeah, it's just it.
Yep.
You know, Disney World, Disneyland. They are not just kid parks. There
Yeah.
is something for the kid in all of us, you know, and that's what's really cool about them and being
Yeah.
able to go. So yeah,
That's right.
it all, you know,
We're never happier than when we're there away from the rest of the world and involved in the bubble, just enveloped completely in the bubble
yeah,
with those we love the very most. It's just joy. It's pure joy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
And
that's why we do what we do.
and that's why
We
we
want
do it.
other families to have that too.
You know, there's a lot to Walt Disney, but and we've touched on it, you know, in bits and pieces, you know, counting my blessings, you know, being, you know, a father and family and everything like that. But there's the side of Walt that also is his faith,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
There is on this day in Disney history, there is an essay, if you will, that he wrote
Mhm.
um, about his faith, and I'll put the link out there. But it's basically his words on prayer in his life
Mhm.
and the meaning of how prayer was important. And
Yeah.
so it's just, and he wrote this when he was age 61,
Yeah.
you know. So, and I'm just going to read a little bit of it because it's a long essay. But he starts by saying every person has his own ideas of the act of praying for God's guidance, tolerance, and mercy to fulfill his duties and responsibilities. My own concept of prayer is not a plea for special favors, nor is a quick palliation for wrongs knowingly committed. A prayer, it seems to me, implies a promise as well as a request. At the highest level, prayer not only is supplication for strength and guidance, but also becomes an affirmation of life and thus a reverent praise of God.
Yep.
That's just the
Yes.
start of this, and I'll post the link for this as well because it's phenomenal. And you don't you don't hear. The world doesn't want us to hear about a person's faith, you know, but
Nope.
it's there,
It's
and it
there.
was there,
It was
and
there in everything he did.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's important to acknowledge that and to recognize that, you know. And he wrote this when he was age 61, so he wrote it 5 years before he passed away.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, 4 years.
4 years. You're right. I was saying
4
it's
years.
1966. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. So
Well, he was a great example of a wonderful human being.
He was.
I know
Imagine
there
what
are
he
so
would have
many
been able
different
to do if
examples.
he.
Yeah.
Imagine what else he would have been able to do if he had been alive for just a little bit longer.
right. But you know what? None of us are guaranteed tomorrow.
No,
Nope.
that's
And
why it's
that
important what we do today.
Yep.
exactly. Exactly. That's why we've got to make the most out of today.
You're
And
right.
it's really cool because, this is December 2nd that it airs, December 1st for YouTube, and we're recording it on November 29th, which of course is the day after Thanksgiving this year in America.
Mm-hmm.
And this morning at Friday Morning Fellowship, we went all the way around the room. Every person spoke and spoke about what they were thankful for. And it's just, that's what it's all about, is
Mm-hmm.
being thankful
Yes.
and acknowledging your creator and giving thanks that he gave us another breath,
Mm-hmm.
that he woke us up this morning. I read yesterday, I get an email, and there's a friend of mine, his name is Steve Noble. Shout out to Steve. And he writes like a commentary, like a devotional type email every day. And yesterday, his devotional email was looking at the Bible, 66 things he's thankful for, one thankful thing from each book of the Bible. It was so cool. It was
Nice.
so cool. And I read it to the girls yesterday
Yes, I
while we were
remember
cooking,
that.
preparing turkey. But it was really neat. So yeah, it's just one of those things. We got to be thankful for what
Mm-hmm.
we've been given, and obviously being able to spend time and take our families and go to Disney. That is a gift. It's a privilege.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not something that everyone can do,
Mm-mm.
and
I wish everyone could, though.
yeah,
I
and
do
to be
That's
too.
what we try
thankful.
to
It's
do to
about
help everyone do it.
it's about being thankful that we are given that opportunity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so anyway, that but all of that comes back to Walt Disney, the man who wanted to have something, some avenue for making this world, leaving this world a better place
Yep.
than it
He
was.
certainly did.
And that was the whole point. That was the whole point of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So, anything else you guys want to add?
Not really.
Well, I know that in one of those articles, Diane Disney was talking about things that, about her father. And in one, she said that this particular thing just completely summed up like her father's essence. And it's going to sound familiar to you. I'm going to read it. But
Read it.
if this one thing sums up his essence, this is the perfect example of how I want to continue to live my life until my time is over. Come feed the little birds, show them care, and
Oh.
you'll be glad if you do. Their young ones are hungry. Their nests are so bare. All it takes is tuppence from you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Feed the birds, that's what she cries, while overhead her birds fill the skies. All around the cathedral, the saints and the apostles look down as she sells her wares. Although you can't see it, you know they are smiling. Each time someone shows that they care.
Mm-hmm.
Through her words are simple and few. Listen, listen, she's calling to you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. I feel like if I let that guide my life, and I'm always cognizant of feeding the birds, and that's the influence he's had on me since I was
Mm-hmm.
15 years old. I figure I'm trying to live up to the legacy he left for so many of us.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's, it's the world knew Walt Disney as this super large, imposing figure. But to someone like Diane Disney Miller,
Yeah.
that was just dad.
Yep.
I remember, and this is off topic just a little bit, but I remember when Billy Graham passed away
Mm-hmm.
and they had his funeral. We listened to it actually in the car
Yeah.
while we were eating lunch. And I remember one of his children got up, and I don't remember which one. And she had a short-lived marriage, and it had not ended well. And she had gone home, and she went to see mom and dad, and she's like, the world knew Billy Graham as this evangelist that brought people to Christ. And she was driving up to see them, and she comes around the corner, and there he is. And it wasn't Billy Graham the evangelist, it was Billy Graham, her daddy, who was there for her when she needed him. That's just like the powerful moments that the world presents us, and that's just really neat to think about in those situations. For us, Walt Disney was the creator of this whole universe, this whole Disney universe. But he was also dad. He was husband, like we said a moment ago. He was all of
Yeah.
those things on a much more personal level to them than we unfortunately did not have that opportunity to meet.
And he believed in deeds more than words. And he believed that small acts of kindness and compassion really could make a big difference. And he's right.
Yes.
So that, if there's nothing else, then I think that is a fitting tribute to Walt Disney and a life well lived.
Yeah.
So thank you, Walt.
Thank you, Walt.
Thank you.
All right. Well, time to move on then. That wraps up our feature topic.
Mm-hmm.
And it is time for this day in whose history?
Disney history. Of
Go
course,
for it,
this one
Sophie.
only has, well, this one focuses around someone else, but it does go back to Walt's amazing hiring skills. 1935. The day is December 2nd. Mark Davis begins working as an apprentice animator at the Walt Disney Studios.
Oh, yes.
He is immediately thrown into 2 weeks of intense drawing classes taught by the studio's resident instructor, Donald Graham. Davis will go on to become one of Walt's 9 old men and create such memorable Disney characters as Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Tinker Bell, and Cruella de Vil. He will later become one of Walt's original Imagineers and ultimately a Disney legend.
Yes.
Yes. That was a great day.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Great day. Excellent. Thank you, Sophie.
Thank
Awesome,
you.
Sophie. Good history. Wow. That's the way it rolls.
Love it.
Okay. It's hard to come up with stuff that might even be at the remotely most minuscule challenging.
Yep. We're on to Stump the Sofa. If you listen to our show regularly, you know that it is impossible to stump the Soph. But Mike always tries.
Almost.
We try.
Almost.
Yeah.
There are some times
So-
when he gets it.
Yeah. It's been a
Every
while though.
once in a blue moon.
Mm.
So I will name 3 characters. Let's see how many it takes before you get the movie. Guess the movie, Sophie.
Okay.
Nanny.
Nanny? Do you mean Nana?
No?
Okay. Oh, wait. Hang on. Never mind. 101 Dalmatians.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Fantastic. Yay, Sophie.
101
Oh my
Dalmatians.
gosh.
Thank
The other
you.
2, it would have been really easy. Roger.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, now that you know it, it's really easy. And Anita. I don't know if
Roger and
and
Anita.
Anita.
Very, very good. Yay. Fabulous.
Thanks.
Fabulous.
That's my girl.
Yep.
That's
She
why
is totally
we
amazing.
need new material.
I'm
She is
working
amazing.
on it, Daddy.
I know you are, honey. I'm not worried about it. It's fun.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It is amazing. So that is Stump the Soph, which is not
Yay.
very stumpable.
Not at all. That's what we love about her. You can't stump
Yep.
her.
Yep. All right, Brenda.
All right. Well, I have
A little bit of Walt.
have a
A
two.
do a
I have
double dose.
I have a double dose today because I think both are equally important, and so I included both of them. And this will at least explain why when everybody says Disney World, it makes us cringe. Anytime somebody says Disney World, I have a cringe in my heart. To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here, age relives fond memories of the past, and here, youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. Walt Disney. That was his gift. And the second quote is by Walt's brother Roy at the dedication of Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World is a tribute to the philosophy and life of Walter Elias Disney and to the talents, the dedication, and the loyalty of the entire Disney organization that made Walt Disney's dream come true. May Walt Disney World bring joy and inspiration and new knowledge to all who come to this happy place, a magic kingdom where the young at heart of all ages can laugh and play and learn together. Dedicated this 25th day of October 1971. Roy O. Disney.
Love it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep,
It was going to be Disney World.
that's right.
And when Walt passed away, December 15th, 1966,
Yep, Roy
Roy
decided
said
it needed his name.
it is going to be Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
And we are so grateful for it.
Yeah.
And for Roy's part in it, for sure.
For Roy, for sure.
Yeah.
And we give thanks for him a lot. We don't think about Roy as much.
No.
But we give thanks for him, and we also remember him because he didn't have much time after that.
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, he came out of retirement to build Walt Disney World, and then he died like 2 months later.
Yeah.
It's just really, I mean, when you think about it, it's just really amazing if you think about the story of it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, excellent quotes. Excellent,
Thank you.
excellent quotes. Thank you,
Thank you.
Brenda.
You're welcome.
You know what? This is December 2nd air date. December 3rd, Brenda starts her trip.
That's right.
December
Yeah.
6th, we start our trip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Holy cow!
I'm so
exciting.
excited.
I'm
gonna
so
be
excited.
amazing.
And I just can't hide it. Sophie's like, I ain't singing that. But here's what I am going to say. Because of our trips, don't look for us next week.
True.
Okay.
Not next week.
But the week after, get ready and bring your Christmas memories.
Yes.
Bring your Christmas memories because we are going to share our top 5, each of us 5. Okay, get ready.
Okay.
Our top 5 Christmas memories at Disney.
Ooh.
I'm hoping that some will be developed during this trip.
I
Oh,
bet you they will.
certainly.
And I'm hoping that while we are all together, that maybe we can record something together and shoot it out for the people.
Yay.
On the road with Mickey, live on location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd
Why
be fun.
not?
You know what? I think that
It'd
would
be
be
fun.
a lot. So let's see if we can't make that happen, ladies. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, we hope you all have a great week ahead. We hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We hope you are able to spend a lot of great family time together because that's really what it's all about for us is family. And we hope that you have a good week coming up. And if you're having a great week, put a smile on your face so everyone knows it. And if you're having a rough week, I hope someone shares something with you that makes your week better. And we hope that our little show here makes things just a little bit more bearable during the week because we know how hard work can be. But until next week, I'm Mike. She's Sophie. That's Brenda. And he's Grogu. And he says, Sophie, make sure you bring me some macarons.
I will. Don't worry, buddy. I will.
And we will
See you on the road.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.